This video was compiled from an article by Dale Calvert at dalecalvert.com. I so appreciate all people that have an entrepreneurial spirit. I've spent my entire adult life doing my best to support anyone who seeks growth and refuses to be a victim. Those with the courage to persist and take responsibility for their life. I have tried to lead by example. If you are a regular reader of this website, then I'm probably talking about you. If you are not a full-time entrepreneur yet, the odds are you have a side gig and are working towards being your own boss and taking more control over your destiny. Certainly that is not everyone, but that is many of you. If I am talking to you, I want you to hear what I am getting ready to share, because I would give anything if someone had shared this with me when I first started. The number one challenge entrepreneurs face, and most don't even know it. You think too small. My thought years ago when I started was, if I could get to $100,000 a year and be my own boss, life couldn't get much better than that. That was my top based upon the box in which I lived in. We all have a box of programmed perceptions, full of beliefs about what is possible for us. Most of our boxes are developed by the time we are 12 years old, based upon three factors: our parents, authority figures, the society or culture in which we were raised. Let me expand on this point for a moment. I was raised in a small town in the United States, Stamping Ground, Kentucky, population 400. I've often thought about how different my life may have been if I was raised in Boston, Mass., San Diego, California, Budapest, Hungary, or somewhere in Australia or anywhere outside the United States. Note, I said how different it would be, not necessarily better. So what is your story? What does your box look like? What impact, positive or negative or self-limiting beliefs, did your parents, authority figures in your life, and the culture in which you were raised have on your life? The second point I want to make, and this is something I talk about quite often when I speak at live events but have never heard too many people talk about. At some point on your entrepreneurial journey, your reality is going to surpass your wildest expectations. When this happens, you need to be ready to handle it. I still remember my first $100,000 month, $200,000 month, and $300,000 income months I ever had. Yes, I said months. Remember, my goal was $100,000 a year with no boss. Looking back, that type of income created a guilt that I never could have anticipated. Why? I hadn't thought big enough. There is a good chance you are familiar with Gary Vee. If you are, what has his goal been since he was an immigrant kid from Russia? If you are thinking, own the New York Jets, you would be correct. Think about that for a minute. Again, I ask you, what does your box look like? What is your long-term goal? Is it big enough? We have many new entrepreneurs who read this blog regularly. Many are flippers. They are flipping items on Amazon, eBay, Poshmark, or wherever. Several have been able to leave their full-time jobs and work for themselves as full-time flippers. Many that I speak with are so thankful they are able to work for themselves and be their own boss that they feel they are living the dream. I so respect that, but I need you to know, think bigger. You haven't started yet. I heard one time that you should have a goal so big that unless God himself intervenes, you are bound to fail. Gary Vee has said many times it is not really about buying the New York Jets, it is about the goal to buy the New York Jets. Consciously or unconsciously, he understands the thrill is in the journey and he wants to experience the journey as long as he can. Is this making sense? I have heard him say that the day he buys the New York Jets will be one of the best and worst days of his life. Why? The audacious dream of an immigrant Russian boy will be accomplished, but it will also be over. If you love the game, you must learn to dream big dreams that will keep you in the game a long time. I want to encourage you to think bigger. I would give anything if my goal had been to buy the Cincinnati Reds instead of making $100,000 a year with no boss. At age 39, I basically semi-retired and coasted for over 15 years. I was a multi-millionaire in my mind, and in most people's I had made it. Later in life, I started to understand that the competition is not with what society deems successful, but the real competition is with the person in the mirror. The thrill is in the journey. To maintain your journey and intensity, you have to challenge yourself to think bigger. I now have new audacious goals and ambitions, and I encourage you to create audacious dreams of your own. If you enjoyed this content, I hope you will consider subscribing to this channel and check out our podcast at www.mlmsuccess.com. That website again is mlmsuccess.com. We will put the link in the description of this video.